You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check the Jumbotron first, before attempting to eat a stack of Supreme nachos in one bite. Now you're just a meme that everyone shares on game day. Checking first is smart, so check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Welcome to the Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. David Drork is right here. He works for the Hockey News. Ethan is in that chair right there, and Rosie is on vacation.
Steen.
She deserves that.
Well, she's supposed to be Steen, but she's on the chat. She's watching the show.
Oh, because she loves us.
Oh.
And I don't see why, but she loves us. We have ESPN reporter Emily Kaplan on the show.
Yes.
And she will talk to us about the trade deadline and what's going on in the NHL. If you want to watch that, for those who are watching on the DraftKings Network, you can see the interview on YouTube for the Batard Show page. You can find our show on the Hockey Show playlist folder.
Yeah, there's a lot of hockey shows in the playlist.
Yeah, I counted. There was 55 in that folder. Wow. I can't believe we've done 55. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So let's get started. Let's drop the puck and talk about the news that the Florida Panthers have been in this week, and it's been a long week.
A little bit of news.
Yeah, a little bit of news, good and bad. Let's start with the good. Brad Marchand is a Florida Panther now. And I swear to goodness, it's just weird to me. All right, first the news. We're at the practice facility waiting for Bill Zito. And then that news happened.
Yeah. I think I had just texted him at like 2:55 or 2:57.
Hey, where you at?
Well, no, it's like the trade that you send him a text, be like, "Are you guys done?" And usually you'll get an answer back, like, "Yeah, we're done," and then they'll talk. No answer.
No answer.
Which was like, okay, whatever. They're still up to something. And then 3:10.
Yeah.
3:15.
Yeah, nothing. That's crazy, man.
And then we're hearing.
And then we're hearing speculative.
So this was the worst part for me was I had to go get a haircut at 3:30 that day.
You gotta groom yourself.
And my haircut place is in Aventura, so it's about 30 minutes from my house. So I had to leave at 3 o'clock. So I'm watching NHL Network. The clock strikes 3, and nothing happens. I'm like, okay, whatever. I get in my car, and I get a text message with Friedge's tweet that Brad Marchand is going to Florida. And then an hour and a half unfolds where I don't know what the return is. And one of my friends had sent me a tweet that said Anton Lundell was going to Boston. And so I'm losing my mind. Losing my mind, freaking out, thinking, oh my God, we just traded for an injured Brad Marchand, and the Panthers traded for an injured Brad Marchand, and they traded Anton Lundell for him. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Then as it took longer and longer for the return to get out, I'm like, no way they traded Anton Lundell.
Remember our reaction because as this is all happening, like I'm firing off text messages and I'm trying to find out whatever I can. And I actually got a text from a very good source that said second round pick.
Yeah.
And I showed it to Roy, and we looked at each other like, No
it
way.
could not have been.
No chance.
And that's what ended up happening.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
So my friend that sent me the text is a Tampa fan. He saw a text that said that somebody on TSN reported that it was Lundell in a first. And he was like, it better be Lundell or else like this is just highway robbery. And then the details came out and I started taunting him with the fact that it was a conditional second rounder 3 years from now. And he was not very happy as a Lightning fan, I can tell you that much.
Well, before we move on, just a quick question. Just going through the timeline of your story, why does it take you 90 minutes to get a haircut? You have less hair than I do.
It doesn't take me 90 minutes to get a haircut. It's just from the drive
30 minutes
to
to
the haircut
the shampoo and
the
treatments
shampoo,
and all that,
the haircut,
and you have to go
and
all the
then
way to
afterwards,
Aventura for
still
this.
all the way like after the haircut's over, I still don't know what the trade is. It took like an hour and a half, 2 hours to have it fully
you're
confirmed.
moving past the point here. Like, why do you have to go to Aventura, which is like a nightmare?
I've been going to the same guy my entire life. He literally gave me my first haircut, and he is in
I feel
Aventura.
like we're learning a lot about Ethan right now.
Yeah. All right. From the Locust Stalls to seeing him in Panthers gear, and then seeing him on the ice in Boston doing line rushes with the first line. It's still weird.
Oh, it's going to be so weird when he suits up for his first Panther game and he's at that Panther jersey. I mean, any jersey other than Boston is going to be strange, but a Panther jersey, considering the history they've had the last few years, and the fact that he picked, he's like, y'all been kicking my ass. You knocked me out 2 straight years. That's where I want. Like, that's respect, right?
Yeah. Going to the bad, however, Aaron Ekblad was suspended for 20 games. Is 18 plus 2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, 18 plus 2.
That's not good. So that makes the Seth Jones trade even bigger.
Right.
Seth Jones quickly assimilating into how the Panthers are playing. He has done very well so far. He's just got to get used to his other pair. And right now it's Gus Forsling until the foreseeable future.
Well, his minutes have gone shooting up.
Yeah.
You can already tell, first of all, how much of an impact he's going to have because, like David mentioned, I think he played like 26, 28 minutes, something like that
His
last night.
first 3 games, 22 minutes, 18 minutes, 21 minutes. His last 2 games, 28 and 27, 57.
Wow. Yeah. He's been awesome. And the Panthers really, at the same time, really miss Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah.
You saw what happened in Boston the other night. And then last night against Toronto, they gave up a goal, the first goal, that is just something the Panthers never do. It's a cross-ice pass through a wide-open lane to a wide-open shooter.
That was not good. That was a great pass by Nylander.
When the Panthers are blowing a 2-goal lead in the third period and they're giving up wide-open passes like that, you know something's up. They're going to miss Aaron Ekblad. The good news is it's only going to be 2 games in the playoffs, but you better not fall behind 2-0, You better not.
All right, let's get into the wins and fails of the week brought to you by Jägermeister. Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold. For more, visit Jägermeister.com. Drink responsibly. David, what's your win?
My win is Simon Benoit of the Toronto Maple Leafs tried a Superman punch in a hockey game.
Ooh, wow. And he paid for it.
Oh my, dude! But how cool is that's something that you see out of like an MMA movie trailer. Like that's what like Iron Man does to Thanos. Like you don't see that in a hockey game. And I mean, credit to Michael Kisseling from Utah. Like he was pumped up. He probably saw that come. He's like, oh my god, this is happening! I'm getting hit with a Superman punch.
This is why I send it as my fail of the week initially because he lost the fight. You can't Superman punch and then lose the fight.
Cares?
If you're
Aim
going
for
to get off
effort.
the ice and Superman punch, you got to win the fight.
No.
Always have a counter for that. No. Always have a counter for that.
No, that was amazing. I love that. More Superman punches.
More Superman punches so you can look like that.
Guys flying across the ice. Like, let's go. We're going to fight. Let's fight it up.
My win of the week is from Blackhawks Avalanche. On Monday, Nathan McKinnon became the 100th player in NHL history to reach 1,000 career points. His 1,000th point came as a secondary assist on a drop pass, and the goal was by Arturi Lehkonen.
I feel like he has 1,000 points this season.
Yeah.
He has so many assists.
So many Art Ross trophies, man.
Good God.
Right now, the nearest active player to 1,000 points is Brad Marchand. 976 points. He will end up doing that next year. He's going to end up reaching that milestone next year. Whether it's with the Panthers or not, don't know.
No.
But he is going to
don't
do
be
that.
surprised. Don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised. Yeah, exactly. Ethan.
Nathan McKinnon, 102 points on the season. Boys, my win of the week goes to Linus Ullmark. Did you guys see this save he made last night?
Yeah, it's the best save of the season.
Ottawa Senators, who are red hot right now, 4 in a row, maybe 5 in a row, playing the Boston Bruins. Look at this save.
What I love about it is he had zero time to push. He turned his head and just dove and plucked it right out.
My dad and I were watching NHL Network last night, and they showed this replay, and he thought it was a sick goal because the pass and then the shot by Lohrei. Look at this save, and he goes head over heels overhead, whatever you want to call it there. Oh my goodness, just a beautiful sprawling save like that. That to me is this. I haven't seen a better save this year.
Superman punch and a Superman save.
So it's him and it was Logan Thompson that made that save for the Capitals.
Yes,
correct?
it was.
Yeah. So those are the saves of the year.
Logan Thompson's, he kind of had a chance to turn his body and get a little bit of steam built up before he made that dive. Ullmark was down on his knees. He basically had to fall. He had to use whatever core strength he had. That was such an impressive save. As if I needed a reason to love Linus Ullmark anymore. That guy's awesome.
Fails of the week, David.
Fail of the week. Carolina Hurricanes. You failed. And I'm sure we're going to get into this more, but how do you make a trade for Mikko Rantanen? And no disrespect to Logan Stankoven, but this is a team that's win now. Getting first-round picks is not helping you win now, unless you're going to turn them around and flip them, which they can't do at least until next season. Mm-hmm. So just a total fail by the Mikko Rantanen trade. Apparently, Rantanen had a list of only 4 teams that he wanted to sign long-term with. How do you not realize this is Carolina? And I think Rod Brindamore, their coach, kind of vented about it on a radio show after the trade deadline. We have the audio. Ethan, can you hook me up, please?
There's not been one guy that has left here because they didn't like it here. That was except for Mikko, and he did not like it. When he showed up, he said, "There's 4 teams I'll go play for. Well, you're not one of them." So there's 28 other teams he wasn't going to. The better question is, should we have known that before we signed him? Mikko was the only one that I've been associated with that said, I don't want to, this is not for me, and I think there's other circumstances on that. It's not because of the hockey, it was because I think his family, it wasn't for him. Mm-hmm. So, good. And I appreciate that he let us know that. We probably should have known that before we made the deal. Maybe that changes how we go about things.
You think?
No kidding.
That felt like a shot at his front office when he said we probably should have known that. And I think a lot of people are giving Carolina credit here for how they handled this, how they got Stankoven and 2 first-round picks. I don't think they deserve it. I think they botched this situation completely, and I still would have kept Mikko Rantanen for a Stanley Cup run because you're not a better team today than you were, and you already weren't Stanley Cup good. Now you're definitely not Stanley Cup good.
He's a retro at that point.
Well, but that's them realizing, look, we're not probably going to win the Cup this year. We didn't make the improvements other teams made, so they kind of had to pivot and focus a little bit more in the future. But that's tough. When they made that Rantanen trade, that was a win-now trade, obviously.
Yeah.
And blew up in their faces. So, a cautionary tale, Roy.
My fail of the week comes from Predators as Sharks on Tuesday. Now, listen, I know it's been a bad season for the San Jose Sharks.
A little bit.
And
their future is bright.
Yeah, their future is bright. Absolutely. Just not this season. But it's not bad enough for a fan to want to fight their mascot. This guy legitimately squared up against Sharky. What are we doing here?
Fight Sharky, man. Sharky's too cute.
Sharky's such a nice shark.
Sharky's too cute. Yes. You can't.
I understand the fans are a little disgruntled, but to take it out on your own mascot?
Yeah. To his credit, or her credit, depending on who's in the uniform, Sharky walked away. But
Sharky's the bigger fish.
Yeah. But I would not have blamed him or her if she or he wanted to throw punches on that dude.
You remember a few years back, didn't a fan fight
Victor Erat? Yes.
Was not staged. I remember reaching out to Sunrise Police.
Assault charges, yeah.
Find out if that was legitimate. So mascots, we got to protect our mascots.
Protect the mascots. Ethan, your fail.
My fail of the week goes to Stuart Skinner, and really just the Edmonton Oilers in general. They're 3-7 and 0 in their last 10, and they didn't go out and get a goalie at the deadline, even though everybody said they should have. Watch how he ends up here on this Tage Thompson goal. First of all, great goal by Tage Thompson.
Belly
nasty
first.
move.
Face
but
plant.
You're going to see him here. There's a great picture going around of it where he just face plants, totally flops, and he just looks silly. Tage Thompson, by the way, having a great year. I think he's got 34, 35 goals, something like that. Makes Stuart Skinner look silly there. you can't end up flopping around, especially when your job is under fire. The way Stuart Skinner's is looked silly right there. That's my fail of the week.
It's almost like goaltending is hard or something.
It's almost like Edmonton
shut
should have gone out and gotten more goaltending. And Stuart Skinner, he got him as close as he could.
Coming up next, Emily Kaplan from ESPN. She is their NHL reporter on DKN. You can watch that on YouTube on the Batard Show page. Find our playlist photo, The Hockey Show. That's coming up next.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, ah. It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.
We have the hardest working hockey reporter in all the land and around the horn Hall of Famer Emily Kaplan is joining us today. We're going to get into what happened during the trade deadline first, but as I said, she was on around the horn. She's been there, I would say about 150 appearances probably, and she's won 40 times, just about.
It's a pretty solid winning percentage.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, you say I'm the hardest working. You're the one that actually looked at my stats.
Hey, listen, research. All right.
Okay, fair enough.
Always a producer.
I mean, it's kind of further get more reach for local and national reporters, that show, and it's coming to an end May 23rd, I believe, and that show's been on for just about forever. 20 years now. Yeah. So
23.
Yeah, it's a great show. And your time on it, why don't you tell us about your time on it?
Yeah, well, first, 23 years, my first thought is what a run. How many shows get that leeway? And I think it's all credit to Tony Reali, the host, who just makes it home for so many of us. The producers behind the scenes, as you guys know, they're the fabric that make that thing run. And then the panelists. But I'll just never forget the first time they called me and asked me if I wanted to be on it. Aaron Solomon, the executive producer, and I was just shook. And I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm not ready. And I came up with every excuse of why I could do that first show. And I think it was Ramona Shelburne or maybe it was Mina Kimes. Those were the two women that I consulted before I went on. And they were like, look, you can say no once, but if you say no twice, they're not going to call back. You've got to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so grateful for them because at the time, I was a print journalist growing up. That's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to write, and I wanted to write nuanced stories. And TV is something that's new to me. And that show gave me the platform to find my voice on TV. And Tony's so good at just finding what makes us tick and bringing out the best in all of us. He's so selfless in that way. So it really is a community. It really is a family. It's heartbreaking when I think about that not existing anymore, because I was given the opportunity to be a part of such a big legacy show. And I'm just so sad that other generations behind me won't get that opportunity, that they won't be able to find their confidence on a show like Around the Horn. And I hope there's other opportunities out there for them, but this was a really, really special one.
Well, Tony is a good man. We know him around here, and you've been excellent on that show, and we are going to miss that show. So let's get into hockey right quick. It's been a long week down here. I'm tired, all right? David's tired. Ethan in there, I don't know what's going on with that guy. He's going
long
a beard.
Long week, man. Long week. I don't know why it felt so long.
Because the Florida Panthers got Brad Marchand, and subsequently, Aaron Ekblad got suspended. So, yeah, it's been that long of a week. So, based on all the moves that has happened over the past, I would say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Who won and who lost the trade deadline?
Oh, who wins, who loses? I'm going to do the loser really quickly. I think it's the Detroit Red Wings because they didn't do anything, because that race is so crowded in the East. And I remember when they got Patrick Kane, Derek Lalonde, who was the coach at the time, told me, you understand what that did for the locker room when Patrick Kane had all these options and he chose Detroit, and what a boost that was. And it accelerated their season. And then to get to the trade deadline when you don't add anyone, like, yes, they got Peter Mrazek for the goaltending help. Like, I just feel like that's just such a bummer for those guys because they fought so hard and they built with some adversity. And it's like, okay, but the general manager is basically saying next year. We'll see how it all shakes out. But that to me is like a team that maybe could have used some kind of boost, an extra defenseman, an extra forward. Winners? Can I pick Florida? Am I being a bias?
Please
here?
pick Florida. Please.
I'm begging you to pick Florida.
What a deadline.
I just think, firstly, Nico Sturm, I think with this general manager and management staff, and really, when you start to understand the Florida Panthers and why they become so good, it's because Bill Zito has surrounded himself with so many great hockey minds, and they have really, passionate debates, and it's not all groupthink, but what they've identified is a culture and a fit of player that can fit into that culture. So, Nico Sturm is a great example of, you see him in San Jose and you're like, well, whatever, what is this guy? You see him as a Florida Panther and you're like, oh, that's exactly what they needed. He'll play his, butt off. I could probably say worse things on your show, but
we have.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to be a great Florida Panther. But really, I'm thinking about Brad Marchand, and the fact that he got traded from Boston is something that I think we're all going to have to wrap our head around. And I don't need to relitigate these contract negotiations, but he's 37 years old. He's a franchise legend. Typically you hold on to these guys, and management's like, look, we've got to retool and we only have so far we could bend. And when they decide to trade him, from my understanding, they had some advanced talks with some teams, specifically in the West. And Brad told them, my heart wouldn't be in it. There's one place I want to go. That one place is Florida. Guys, you've been in this market forever. If the top players, the captain of an original 6 teams, this is the only place I want to go. How insane is
not
that?
Only that, an arch rival. It's amazing to see an arch rival who has been knocked out twice in a row by this team have so much respect for them, looking at his career and say, that's where I want to go right now. It's pretty crazy.
That's exactly it. No, because they're embarrassed by them in some playoff runs. And basically what Brad Marchand said is game recognized game. And I hated going against those guys, but if I was going to go to fight with anyone besides the guys in my room right now, those are the guys I want to go to battle with. And I just think that's the coolest thing. It's such a good story for hockey. These are the type of trades you see in other sports. And I just cannot wait to see what type of impact he has.
So you lead me perfectly into what my question was originally. So amazing segue without even realizing it. But I'm putting my Panthers hat on for a second. Who in the East is going to compete with Florida come playoff time? Because for the reasons you mentioned, and so many others that were already on the team before the trade deadline when they were already considered one of the Cup contenders out of the East, who's going to compete with them, Emily? Because it looks like it's kind of set up for another Florida Cup final run. Whoa.
Excuse me?
That was not a...
See, that was the worst thing that we say on
See, that
show.
was an F word coming before Cup. That wasn't supposed to be a swear word, but it's okay because it's our show. But if I'll rephrase my question.
Try.
Who in the Eastern Conference playoffs will compete with the Florida Panthers?
I think there's 2 teams that would really scare me if I was the Florida Panthers. One are in Florida, the other F team. I just think that the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've hit their stride. Vassy looks like peak, Vassy. And I love what Julian Brisebois does every trade deadline. He's like, I don't care what anyone else thinks the prices are. These are the guys I need, and I'll just pay whatever price it is because they're the guys that are going to get me to where I want to go. And, we're all making a big deal about Yanni Gourde because, we know Yanni Gourde and, we know what he looked like for their cup runs and how that sick checking line. He's not the same Yanni Gourde. He's now in his 30s. He's coming off a major groin surgery, a sports hernia surgery. But he's still a fierce forechecker. For them, the bigger part of that deal was Oliver Bjorkstrand, who, like Nico Sturm, just fits what they needed, in maybe an unflashy way. But when you watch him, you're like, oh, I get it. So I think the Tampa Bay Lightning would scare me. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs would scare me. And I just think that, they might have figured it out. I think that their coach, Craig Berube, has made them a much tougher team to play against. I think the commitment for team defense, it's led by Austin Matthews. I think, yes, his numbers are down offensively, but if you watch him defensively, he's really making an impact there. And if they get the goaltending, and like you guys know him, Anthony Stolarz, like you go up in the Florida goaltending factory and he looks pretty good, they could make a run this year.
No respect for the Metro. I love it. I love it.
It's a weird year for them, man. It's a weird year to the Metro. And I feel for the Carolina Hurricanes because I probably would put them in here. I just think there's just been so much noise. Maybe it's the year that you least expect, but the fact they weren't able to get more roster players than Logan Stankoven for what they, gave up from Mikko Rantanen gives me pause.
It's perfect. The segue master, Emily Kaplan, right here, because I was going to ask you about. Seriously, I was going to ask you about the Carolina Hurricanes. I found this situation fascinating throughout the month and a half that it unfolded, from the trade from Colorado to the trade to Dallas. How do we, now that the dust has kind of settled, we know, okay, the assessment seems to be they did okay getting Stankoven and 2 firsts, and we'll see what they do with the 2 firsts. But everything that's happened, and then Tulsky coming out and saying, we had more planned, but we didn't get to do it because we kind of ran out of time. Like, how do you assess everything that happened over the last month and a half with the Carolina Hurricanes and kind of say, did they come out good on the other end of this, or should they maybe have just held on and gone for it with Rantanen?
Yeah, it's so tough to say. I think the situation with Rantanen, look, I think big picture, nobody besides maybe the Dallas Stars, and definitely the Dallas Stars, are happy with how this all shook out, right? Like, it became so public. It became such a distraction. Mikko Rantanen's a guy that's so accommodating to the media, but I know he didn't want his business all aired out like this. And I think it was just icky and a little bit uncomfortable for everyone. From the Canes' perspective, we can get into this war of words of who knew what and when. Did they know? Did they believe? Who said that he was going to potentially want to sign there? But the truth is, they're always going to be an aggressive franchise. They're always going to go for it and make moves that I think the rest of the league might be a little bit more hesitant to make. And sometimes those risks aren't going to work out, but you have to respect them for taking the risks. And I also respect people for cutting their losses, too soon. And I think, again, the situation might have just gotten too messy where you could hold on to him for the rest of the playoff run, but it wasn't really a fit. You knew that there was kind of some noise, that he didn't really feel home in Raleigh, or he didn't really like it. Do you want to carry on to that, or do you want to try to cut your loss early and see what you can recoup? Now, Mikko Rantanen did tell them at least a week before the trade deadline that he wasn't going to sign. So I think that we can have a conversation of yes, you have to go field your best offers, but the fact that it got down to the absolute wire where you weren't able to flip those firsts, maybe that's an experience that they can learn from. But big picture, I think that they can go to sleep at night knowing that they're going to take some rest because they want to win a Stanley Cup. They need a game-breaking talent. They got one who was available, didn't work out. They'll try again.
The New Jersey Devils beat the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers we're going to get into them in a little bit because they've been bad. But the Devils also have been mediocre. They've been hovering over 500, at around 500 over the last 16 games. And Columbus is trying to catch up with them. They're 6 points behind and for third place in the Metro. They lost Jack Hughes for the season. He's not going to be back into the training camp. Jonas Siegenthaler is done for the regular season. He might come back. Dougie Hamilton, we don't even know when he's going to show up. So the Devils have lost 2 defensemen. Where do you see them coming out at the end of the season?
Yeah, I heard the timeline for Dougie Hamilton, the return is somewhere in the first round, the targeting. So we should see him if they go on a run, but it's challenging, right? Those are, Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes and Jonas Siegenthaler, those are important players that are hard to replace. I think the Devils definitely have a by committee approach right now, and I think they can do it. I think that their goaltending has held up enough. I think that these are opportunities for guys. I think of Timo Meier, right? When they traded for him, he was a top power play guy, and he can't even get on the first unit when Jack Hughes is around. So now you get an opportunity for Timo Meier to get there, and their power play has held up okay without him. Luke Hughes is taking on a lot more minutes. Simone Nemec, his training camp was derailed after, he was hurt in Olympic qualifying. Now is an opportunity for him to step up and take that development year. So I see them finishing and getting a spot in the playoffs. I think it'll be a battle, whoever they face in the first round. It's looking like Carolina. They have a chance for an upset because I tend to think once you get to the playoffs, it really can be anyone's game, and it's whoever's the most committed. And I really do like Sheldon Keefe as a coach, and I think he's just so detail-oriented that if he gets these guys dialed in, they can almost win in spite of what they're missing or because of what they're missing, and use that as motivation.
The Oilers, as we mentioned, are bad right now. They've lost 12 of their last 20, and the Kings are catching up to them. And for second place in the Pacific. Now, they got the
Caught up.
Islanders.
The Kings are ahead of them in the standings right now.
Oh, the Kings are ahead of them now. Oh, well, that's how bad it's been then. But they got the Islanders tonight, and that should be an automatic win for them. And I say that because karma's going to get you, Islanders. It's going to get you. Fine, I got the streak. I got the streak going, David. I got the streak going.
You're okay.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
okay.
you. Just wanted to make sure. I don't like the Islanders this year. I'm sorry.
Understood.
The Oilers, though, what's going to happen with them?
I don't know.
There you go.
I really don't. There's something all season has just been amiss. Like they just don't feel like the same team that they ended last season on. I think some of their offseason moves just haven't panned out. You know, you can blame goaltending. You can blame a little bit of a leaky defense. Whatever it is, just the juju's a little bit off. Maybe they're one of those teams now that they know how hard it is to get to that spot, can just flip the switch when it gets to the playoffs. But it's looking now like they won't even get home ice advantage in the first round, which is pretty shocking when you consider that they've got the two best players in the world.
And finally, the second wild card spot for both conferences are jam-packed.
Fun race.
It's a fun race. It's like 4 teams respectively in each conference competing
not the
for the
Panthers.
last spot. And not the Panthers. Yeah. So at the end of the season, who do you see grabbing the last spots in each conference?
Yeah. Well, so it feels like Ottawa has taken that first wild card spot, and good on them, right? Like they took the jump out of all those teams that were looking, to take that jump along with Buffalo and Red Wings. I just get the gut that the Rangers aren't done. And I know you guys probably don't want to hear that, but
I'm with you.
I just feel like
I hate it, but I'm with you.
Yeah, I just, when you've got Igor Shesterkin and you have all of that experience, and I think that JT Miller is dragging a lot of them into this fight, I just have this gut feeling that they're going to squeeze it out, even though I think all of our hearts as hockey fans are pulling for the Columbus Blue Jackets, because what a story that would be.
Yeah.
And then in the West, I really like the way Utah's coming on lately. I just think that they're healthy. To be able to celebrate that market in its first year of existence would be really cool. So that's kind of my gut there, even though it really does feel like a toss-up between so many of those teams.
Wow. That's really
That'll be
Utah.
fun, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would be a
sticking it to
nightmare for
Arizona.
Vancouver.
Sure would.
What a nightmare it would be for Vancouver.
But
if they
have
miss
they
out.
had a dream season, Vancouver?
Yeah.
Has this entire season been a nightmare?
I think Vancouver making the playoffs would feel a little bit unorthodox considering the season they've had.
It'll be a moral victory for them, actually.
Yeah, I'd rather see Utah. Honestly, I'd rather see Calgary.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Quinn Hughes. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's your opinion.
I love watching Quinn Hughes play hockey.
Give us our sweet American prince.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, Emily Kaplan, we are going to see you when you get down to Florida because, it's Florida Panthers, the defending champion. They're going to make the playoffs. Can't wait to see you coming back down here. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Emily.
Oh, I know. We've got a big game against the Leafs on ESPN sometime in April in Florida, so I'll look out for you guys. And I have a feeling I will be there May, June. Lots of time for Lauderdale.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy, they're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free, with AutoShip. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love. At prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it, they've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth, vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? Auto ship. I never run out of essentials like food or litter, and I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
All right, it's time to go over the week that was as far as games played for the Florida Panthers. Let's start with Saturday. They won against Buffalo. It was 4-0. It's Vitek Vanacek's first game as a Panther, and he got a shutout. Now, as you can see, the differences between team defense with the San Jose Sharks and the Florida Panthers, vastly different. Vastly different. And the Panthers played their usual suffocating style. Okay, granted, it is Buffalo. But, yeah, I mean, they pretty much shut them down early. A.J. Greer had a goal in a fight. It was a nice, boring game for the Panthers. Nothing to write home about.
No, it was kind of their second in a row because they had just beaten Columbus in a similar fashion. Another shutout win. At that point, they had given up, 1 goal in 4 games, I think, after that Buffalo win. And it was just nice to see them rounding back into form after the Four Nations break and considering the guys that were out of the lineup. Florida's, they're chugging on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that game, and it was, first of all, awesome to hear fans already latching on to Vanacek and chanting, Vanny, Vanny. Just shows how far hockey fans have come in Florida, that they're so knowledgeable that they know. Back then, you wouldn't have even known, that we just picked up this goalie. Like, nobody would have known who he was. So it was really cool to see them latch onto a guy right away and really know what was going on. And then he was awesome. I mean, the Panthers defensively were stymieing. They didn't allow anything. And they've been on fire defensively since the Four Nations break.
The fans are still
absolutely on fire.
The fans are still saying night, though.
3 shots on goal in the third period of that game.
Yes.
It never once felt like Buffalo had any chance in that game.
No.
Never once.
Yeah, but the complete opposite happened in Boston on Tuesday. The Panthers lost 3-2, and all 3 of those goals for Boston came in the third. It was not good because
very unorthodox.
It's a very rare thing to see the Panthers blow a lead in the third period, and it was a 2-goal lead at that. And they are now 28-3-0 when leading after 2 periods. But here's a very telling stat. Since you brought up shots on goal for Buffalo on Saturday. 5-on-5 in the third period for the Panthers. They had 2 shot attempts, and one of them was stopped by Jeremy Swayman. 2 shot attempts.
That's bad.
On 5-on-5 in the third period.
That's bad.
That's not good.
This is a Panthers team that generally gets like 70, 80 shot attempts per game, if not more. Like they're offensive zone, puck on their stick, possession team. So to see Boston kind of flip the script on them and do to Florida what Florida generally does to other teams in the third period, take them to shut down City. The Panthers usually take teams there. They're not brought there. So that was a little jarring.
And as Ethan brought up earlier, glaring the Aaron Ekblad injury in that game.
Yeah, when the Panthers blow a 2-goal lead in the third period, something's up defensively.
Yep.
And I'm looking around, I'm kind of saying, oh, right. That Ekblad guy's pretty important, eh?
Yeah.
Like, they really need him. They miss him. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. Ever since I got back from Canada. And it's not like I went to French Canada. Anyway.
It's like Chris Rittenham over here talking like he's British.
At the weekend. Anyway, the Panthers, it was amazing to me like how horrible that loss felt because it's so rare over the last 3 years for them to blow a 2-goal lead. I don't even know what the numbers are, but for it to be that rare just shows how this isn't really concerning. It's just a blip.
Yeah,
and
it's just
when they have Aaron Ekblad in the playoffs, which is when it actually matters, right? They should be okay. They shouldn't do this. And also, it was
They're
funny
not
to
losing
see
that game in the playoffs.
It was also
absolutely not.
absolutely not. And it was also very funny to see how badly Boston wanted to win that game simply because their captain wanted to come to Florida so badly. That was very, very funny.
Nikita Zadorov
and
is kind of a madman out there.
Yeah,
and he finally got his fight against Sam Bennett.
And I hope they raise a banner for winning a meaningless game and
raise a banner for that fight.
I'm still surprised after going there for the Four Nations and staring at all the banners they had. I'm still kind of shocked that Boston has only won 6 Stanley Cups ever. Like, it's Boston.
I mean, between the time of Bobby Orr and
Raymond Bourque,
and I mean, no,
in 2011, right?
No, but I'm saying like they've had great teams, they've had great players.
I mean, the span of time between Bobby Orr and him winning the Stanley Cup that year, where he dove after scoring on the St. Louis Blues, to the time where Brad Marchand is at, and I'm sorry, Zdeno Chara is left in the Stanley Cup. That is a very long time.
It was like, what, 40, was it 1970 to 2011?
Just about, yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I'm not sad about it. I'm, only 6 Stanley Cups. Boo-hoo. Don't cry in your Super Bowl trophies, Boston fans. But anyway.
And then the other team that plays in that building.
72 to 2011.
They had, thank you. The Celtics, on the other hand, had a shit ton of banners.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of numbers.
They have it separated.
All right, no penalties for time this week because Rosie isn't here. Milkshakes for breakfast for everybody, but enough with the Celtics talk. We don't talk about basketball around here.
Yeah, that's
about
true. It's a hockey
banners,
show.
but-
I mean, we're talking about banners.
We don't talk basketball.
I mean, they occupy the same building. Thursday, yesterday, the big one. That was the big one right there. That was the litmus test. The Panthers played the Maple Leafs and won 3-2.
Battle for first.
Yes, the battle for first place in the Atlantic Division. Now, it was not a good start 2 minutes into the game, giving up a goal like that, but they settled down.
Yeah, they didn't give up another shot for a while after that.
Yeah, Max Domi was a madman out there. He had a goal and an assist. It was a rush goal at that, and that somehow got past by. Max Domi scoring on you in a rush. On a bad line change, mind you.
Yeah,
that should not have happened.
Well, it was not a great goal by Bob. Like, and even Paul Maurice addressed it after the game. He was like, when Bob gives up one he doesn't like, he usually doesn't give up another one, and he didn't. But I mean, if that's the worst that they're going to do, they get caught in a line change and they give up a bad goal, the goalie wants to get back. Like, I can deal with that. That's as opposed to like making a mental mistake or a guy falling or something like that. Okay, and they still didn't win.
Sam Bennett scored twice. He's got 2 pets adopted last night on behalf of the Humane Society of Broward. Benny's Buddies has now helped adopt 22 pets this season. 21 goals for the Panthers, 1 for Team Canada. So that's 22. He is 6 goals away from his career high of 28 on the season. I want to talk about this play that was made by Seth Jones on the second goal. That Sam Bennett scored.
So in this video, you're going to see the goal first. You're going to see Rhino between the legs to Bennett for a great finish.
Yeah.
But watch this play
right
by Seth Jones to keep it in. This ultimately leads to the goal. So he hooks the puck back in while he's on his belly. Watch it again here. This is absolutely an incredible play. And the Panthers were able to keep it in the zone. The power play was running down. They keep it in, work it around. Mackey down to Rhino to Benny for the goal.
Yeah, my opposition on that one based on that play by Seth Jones keeping it in because they were expecting to go the other way.
And don't forget, that pass from Rhino here between the legs to Bennett, that was the vintage Florida Panthers play on the power play. Usually it's Matthew Tkachuk to Sam Reinhart. This time it was Sam Reinhart to Sam Bennett. It was awesome to see.
Sam Reinhart and Mackie Samoskevich, respectively, 2 assists in that game. They got 2 games left against the Toronto Maple Leafs on the season. The schedule makers is, what are we doing here? Like, first of all,
backloading.
5 back-to-back games for the Florida Panthers. That's 1. And a lot of those games against the division.
Yep.
Like, they still got 3 games against Montreal this season left. Like, what are we
2
doing
more
here?
against Toronto, right?
Yeah, 2 more against Toronto.
Reward of being the champions.
Yeah, make our lives make the lives harder.
Still the Panthers.
Yeah.
Still the Panthers.
Still the Panthers, and plenty more TJ Luxmore games to go. Tomorrow they play Montreal, who are a point behind the Blue Jackets for second in the wild card spot. Columbus lost 4-0 to Vegas, by the way, so they didn't gain any ground. Montreal, after losing 8 of 9, have won 6 of the last 9 games.
Yeah, turn it around a little bit.
Yeah, getting hot at the right time. Cole Caulfield, 32 goals. Nick Suzuki, 69 points. The Panthers lost their first matchup back in December 4-0. So that's what we're looking at tomorrow.
Always fun going to the Bell Center.
At the Bell Center.
Great memories in Central Bell, let me tell you, boys. But no, the rest of the road trip is really important as well. Like, that was such a big win for the Panthers last night. One, because it created a 4-point gap to the Maple Leafs, which assures that even if they win their game in hand, the Panthers would still have a 2-point lead on them.
And a regulation win as well.
Right, and the standings could have been tied. They could have been even on points had the Leafs won that game. But then you look at the rest of the road trip. Montreal is no slouch right now. The Islanders, we all know how the Islanders are playing. And then the Blue Jackets and the Blue Jackets and the Capitals cap off the road trip. This is a very difficult road trip for the Panthers. Had they lost last night, all of a sudden you're looking at an even more difficult road trip, trying to get off 2 tough losses, especially after they had a 3-1 lead again in the third period. Could have been a brutal loss, but that was absolutely huge for the Panthers to shut that game down and win, because they need to get some more points the rest of this road trip.
So 1-1 on this road trip right now, and they're looking at trying to dispatch the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday. That's David Dwork. Ethan, thank you for producing. Rosie, we miss you. Mike Malley in the back along with Jason doing video. My name is Roy Bellamy. We will talk to you next week. Okay, goodbye. Who is that? Oh, is that Danny GQ as well? Oh, we got an engineer back there as well. How about that? And, of course, they put themselves on TV because they're important.
And Gino. Don't forget Gino.
Gino is also back there. We appreciate
Nobody
you, Gino.
puts Gino in the corner. What's going on?
The better Fuentes.
Yeah, man, I didn't see you because of the lower third. Sorry, Gino.
There you
That's my bad. Okay, goodbye.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never, ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. Life gets busy, and your mind carries it all. But just like your body needs care, so does your mental health. Therapy is an investment in clarity, in peace, in you. Let's talk numbers. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, which adds up fast. But with BetterHelp online therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and time. Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time. Your well-being is worth it. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.